just a heads up. I feel like this video will go on a whole tangent, but take the ride with me because it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be informative, and will make you think. Think about what? Stay tuned.
And I've been chilling, watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chilling, kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change.
Yeah, welcome back to my channel. Hi, what's up, everybody? It's your girl Jackify, and of course, yet again with another rumble. Ba-ba-da-dum. So I'm trying something different, of course. So minimalistic editing here and there, add some little bit of let's get ready to rumble and all that. But the rumbles is still the same. So welcome back. I hope you've all had an amazing week back to work, to school, to all the above, because I am at that point where all the above applies. Just finished my first week of classes and whew, I am tired. And whoever said education ends, it doesn't. It doesn't, honestly. Like, when you're in high school, you get excited to finish, to graduate, you're finally done with high school, and then you go to college and you're like, oh, can't wait to graduate and do something with my life. And then after that it's like, oh yeah, you have to do this training, you have to get a master's, you have to do this diploma or get this certification. It's like a never ending cycle, and it's like, can't you just tell me that when we're beginning? Just prepare me mentally, psychologically for all the studying and exams that I'm gonna do for the rest of my life, because I feel like I will never leave school. At this rate, I will never leave school. Like, school will always be there. And even if, like, honestly, it's not even about being in school. Like, it's all about, like, learning is never ending. This is when books are involved sometimes. Nah. It's not for me, y'all. I literally chose a school that I'm only required to take 6 classes, and those 6 classes I'm feel like, I want to get them done. I want to get them done and move on. Like, do what I want. Like, do my work, like, do my research. Because and with classes, you're taught everything. We will take a class, and this is the same even in college. Like, you will take a class that you chose because they teach that one specific thing that you're really interested in. Don't get me wrong, you love the class, you love that particular section of the class. But then with classes, they always try to make it multifaceted, so you have to go through all this, I don't want to call it junk, but all those things that you have to learn in the process. And then you only have that one class. I feel like you should have classes in terms of like a month long of classes. I don't need 17 weeks of classes when I'm only using like maybe 4 or 5 weeks of what I learned. That's what I retain, and then the rest is just like, why is it occupying my space? Why is it occupying my headspace? Like, can you imagine? Honestly, I took this class, and then this is the other thing with college. Like, you have to take classes outside of your discipline, and now we're talking about now we're talking about college. Now you're taking me back. And I remember in college, like, we had to take classes outside of our discipline, to make sure that you have an idea of what's happening out there, which is good. But don't pressure me with exams if you're making me do this. It's not gonna help me. One very good example, archaeology. Like, dude, I do not even remember what archaeology is, but I took a whole semester of it. I took a whole semester of it, and I got a good grade. I think I got a 4 point, but I don't know. I can't remember. But I honestly don't remember anything from that class. I do not remember. Like I literally just crammed everything and went to class, went to my exams. All that I had crammed overnight, got my grade, and that's it. That was over and done with. Because I wasn't interested in it. I don't know why you're forcing me to take a class that I do not need. And then like, wait, which other? They honestly, I don't remember anything in archaeology. Why do I didn't even take geology in high school. No, it's called geography. I didn't take geography in high school. I took art. I took art and design. Like art and design, religious education, physics, chemistry, biology, of course, sciences and all that. I did not take geography. And then I came to college and they were like, oh yeah, here's a list of 2 classes that you need to choose one to take. And it's like, I think I had the option of geology and what was the other one? Was it criminal justice or something like that? But with the criminal, so here's a catch. They will give you a list and then they will be like, a catch will be at the prerequisites. And they were like, oh yeah, in order to take this class, you have to have done some criminal justice course, beginner course or something like that. And I was like, okay, I'm stuck with archaeology. Wasted space in my head. And I'm so, like, honestly, went to another college. I've been to several colleges. Me graduating was a process. I'm for real. I go to another college. Here we were taking, it was still biochemistry, yeah. But then you have to learn economics. And not economics in biology. Nah. This is economics, like real business economics and all that. And I get it. Like, it's they're training you to learn all these things and trying to get you involved in all these things. But it doesn't have to be, my thing is, it doesn't have to be that long. It doesn't have to be 17 weeks for you to realize that you like or hate something. Like, I don't have to sit down for 17 plus weeks to realize I am not going into the Forex. I'll not be following the Forex reports or whatever. It doesn't take me 17 weeks to realize that I'm never working in a church as a nun. That's why I'm not taking theology. I actually took theology at some point in my life. Yeah, that was a required class. I took theology for a whole week, for a whole semester. Do I remember anything? Nope. And I'm like, why? Wasted tuition, wasted space in my head, which I don't even remember it, so it technically doesn't even exist in my head. Like, honestly, I don't even remember. I think the one class that I do remember in theology was arguing whether God exists or a greater being exists. And if you ask me to argue for or against that topic, I'll just be blank. You can win the argument, it's fine, because I have no idea. What I believe is what I believe. What you believe is what you believe. I don't have to justify my beliefs. You don't have to justify yours. Let's choose. Let's move on. And yeah, now I realize that I've taken so many classes that I'm probably never going to use in my life. And not even, like, I didn't even gain any knowledge. Like, I would be like, math, yeah, I use it every day. Science, yeah, I use it every day. I see it every day. So that for me, in my world, that works. Let's see, art. I love art. I'm making art right now through this and learning about other aspects of art like sculpturing and decor and all this, and interior design and all that stuff. So actually stay tuned, there's some stuff coming up in my socials and everything, so follow. I don't know where I'll put it, but follow me on Instagram at Jackify, and also follow me here, like subscribe, and you'll get to see some stuff. So I have all these things that I am able to apply. Everything that I learned from college and from my colleges, from my high school, and all my education, like school life. Yes, there are some those things that maybe I didn't know, like I didn't know I would use them at the time, but ended up being beneficial. I'm just saying, like, it didn't have to be. It shouldn't have taken that long for you to teach me that this thing exists. You know, do you like it or not? I will tell you that in a month, like in a month or two. Especially in college, like, you're adults. Like, you're adults, you can make decisions. You can make decisions after a month of taking classes, and you're like, nah, this is not for me. Take another one. And like, US colleges, they have been really good at that, and even colleges abroad, I would say. But in Kenya, you don't have that luxury, unfortunately. Yeah, if you don't drop, at least for my college, if my university, if you didn't drop a course or change your course within the first week, you're stuck in that class for the rest of the semester, which is like 17 weeks long, like 3 months or something. So you can imagine, you're taking a class that you didn't want. First of all, you didn't get enough time to know that you didn't want it, so now you're realizing about it much later. But exams are coming and you have to pass in order to graduate, so you have to find a way of surviving through this class, whether it's tutoring, whether it's cramming, whether it's going to YouTube and listening, using the learning tools that, some of us are visual learners, some of us are read books and all that stuff. So you have to use all these different techniques in order for you to learn something that you already know you do not need. Yeah, like sometimes, yeah, the education system that we have, and this means in anywhere, honestly, it's not even just in Kenya or in anywhere. It's just messed up. The curriculum is not based on what the interest of the person is. It's the system is trying to give you a preconceived notion of what you want, but not giving you an opportunity for you to realize what you want and actually go for what you want. And that's why most people actually drop out. You get someone that's like, this is not for me. I am being taught something that I'm not interested in, yet my talents are in this other thing. I mean, I would say that we're moving closer towards the type of curriculum that is talent based and more of, like, really geared towards growth, intellectual growth of individuals and not of a society. So because it feels like at some point you're pressured into some career that you didn't want to do. You have students in medical school who are forced to doing medicine, and they are not interested in that. They want to do art, they want to make music, they want to do all these other things that we're doing. But because the pressures of family, society, school, and all these other things, they have been forced into a situation that they cannot get themselves out of, because now they are 4 years down the line and they have no idea what they want, and you find them just dropping out. When the pressure is too much, obviously something's gonna burst. And I honestly don't blame them. I don't blame anyone who drops out and makes something out of themselves. Obviously, don't. Oh God, I'm trying not to cuss. Don't drop out when you do not have a plan. Like, that is stupid. That's messed up. That's messed up. But I would understand. I think I would say I understand. Because sometimes not everyone is book smart, so not everyone can sit in a class for 17 weeks and endure it. Endure something that they're not really interested in. And clearly the grades are telling you they're not interested in whatever it is that they're doing. So yeah, that went really in a very, very wrong way. But it's just that first week of classes, because I'm like, right now I'm just like, okay, I'm taking 4 classes, I need to drop them down to 4 to 3 or 2, but at the same time I want to get done with classes. If it means getting some of those requirements out and taking a class that's like ish, okay, I might end up doing it. So it just reminded me of college when I was choosing courses, and I'm like, some courses were just a waste of time. Like, my friend, waste of time. At the end of the day, sometimes you have to do what we gotta do. And if it means taking that class and getting it over and done with, well, do it. Eventually, you will end up doing something that you want to do. I just wish that we didn't have to go through this whole process in order for you to do what you want to do. Like, can you imagine? Oh my gosh, can you imagine if we encouraged our kids to do, like, to be great artists when they were 10, instead of forcing them through sciences, like, through all the physics and math classes that they're not even getting. And then eventually they drop out and then go and do the art and make a big name for themselves, and they're selling their paintings for $10,000 plus dollars. Imagine what they would have done if you had nurtured that talent when they were kids. And sometimes I'm actually like, if it gets to a point where I'm just like, the school that I take my kids in the future, if I do have kids, it gets to a point where I'm just like, I do consider like homeschooling. Because yeah, if you're not going to nurture the talents that my kid has, academic or extracurricular activities, I am all for school. I love school. But if you're not going to nurture their talents as well, as I said, we can be talented in school. Excuse me. We can be talented in school, and we can be talented in other things. Somebody might be really good at sports, or again might be very good at music or acting or all these other things, and they can also be very brilliant minds. If you're not nurturing that kid's talent, I don't see why I should bring my kids to your school. Like, why? I might as well do it myself, and then find a school that I will actually do it. And I think that's why most people nowadays are going towards are gearing towards homeschooling, because the curriculum nowadays, not really based on the competencies of kids and what they're interested in. And sometimes some will argue that, kids, they don't have they don't know what they want and all that. But that's where you come in. As a parent, that's where you come in and expose your kids to different aspects of this world, different aspects of life, and see where they best fit. And if you can't do that full time, that job falls on the teachers. And if they cannot do that, what's the point?
And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin.
Hi, let me guess. You're in undergrad or you're thinking of going back to school, right? Well, with grad school applications coming up, then I'm so sure you're looking for all the tips and tricks that you will need to ace those applications, right? You're in luck because I will be sharing 5 of my top tips that I used for my grad school application process, and I will give you actual examples from my process and how I utilized these 5 tips. So stick around and let's do this. So the very first thing that you need to do is have a plan. Make a plan and work on it. You already know that you want to go to grad school. Now it's just a matter of putting in the work and learning how the process works, what is involved, and also figuring out what you want to do. The very first thing that I did, I took a whole summer as a learning summer. So I learned about the grad school process. I learned about what was expected of me in terms of paperwork, what kind of documents that they required, the general requirements. And then I dived deeper into looking at what schools do I want to apply to, what programs do I want to apply to, what kind of work do I want to do. Like, do I want to do something that I've been trained in my undergrad, and then looking at different ways of improving my CV. So I worked a couple of jobs to get some of the transferable skills and all that. So this was all in the planning. I was setting myself up for the grad school application process, and it all goes all the way to who's going to recommend me, who's going to proofread my essays, what would I need for that. So all of this is all in the planning. And for me, I used a spreadsheet that had all the possible schools that I wanted to apply to, all the possible programs that they had, all the interest and some of the requirements that they had on my spreadsheet as a rough draft, right? And using that draft, I was able to refine it as I go along. And which brings me to my next tip, which is research your school. Research the school, research the program that you want to do, and then start drafting essays for each school. So one of the things that people try to do is make one statement of purpose that applies to all type of essay. But all these people who are going through your essays, they know these tricks, right? They can tell a generic statement of purpose from a mile away. So it's up to you to make sure that your essay stands out, because once they read your first intro paragraph and it's just very generic, they don't even read the rest of it. They just put it aside. Like, you're not wasting our time. Some of them get paid in terms of how many papers they read. So you really need to customize your essay for each and every school. At this point, you're researching the school, what it's about, you're researching the program, what do you want to do with that program, what are your career prospects within after graduating this program, or stuff like that. Like having a general idea of what the school is and what the program that you're looking for is. The next thing is working on your essay and refining your essay. You do not want a sentence on your essay that doesn't have a purpose. You cannot have a sentence that you're submitting for a grad school application that wasn't meant to be there. Every sentence needs to have a purpose. Plan your sentences. What do you want to tell these people through your essay? What do you want to convey? Do you want to show them your personality? Do you want to show them your way of thinking? Do you want to show them your contributions to the program? Like, what exactly do you want to communicate with these people? How do you want your essay to represent you? Are you trying to convince them? Are you trying to show them that you know about the school? Are you trying to show them that you know about yourself? On to my fourth point. having credible recommendations. The people who are reviewing your essay, they will look at it and they will see like, oh yeah, this recommender doesn't know anything about this person. It was just a random thing and it was an act of kindness, you know. So really take time to consider your recommenders. I personally went to one of my professors. I interacted with him during office hours, in class, over email, so he really knew and had an idea of the kind of student that I am. My other recommender was the professor that I was working for, my PI, and I mean, we interacted every day, so he knew me. My third recommender was the dean of my college, and the reason for that was I was a Dean's Research Scholar at Michigan State University, so being able to work with the dean directly in events and within the program, I was able to form a relationship where he knew who I was and he could write a recommendation for me. So having credible recommenders is crucial. They are tasked with conveying your strengths and weaknesses, and if it's somebody who doesn't know you, they will probably just be very general. Lastly is diversify your CV. Like, you know, sometimes we're tempted to really focus on what we want to do in grad school. If it's psychology, you want to do just psychology research and just that, and work in a lab and nothing else. But when you submit your resume and they see that you've been involved in psychology club, or you've been involved in volunteering, or some other aspects of psychology. For example, I worked as an undergrad research assistant. I worked as part of the Office of Undergraduate Research and Creative Activities, and as an undergraduate research ambassador, which was not a lab-based thing. So it was basically trying to help undergrads find resources, to find opportunities on Michigan State campus, because I mean, MSU is a huge campus and sometimes it's really hard finding these opportunities. So I was helping students find lab opportunities where they could grow their research experience. That was really something fun that I was doing. I also did a lot of other jobs throughout my college life. I was a receptionist at some point, where I really got a lot of transferable skills. Having a diverse CV is really helpful. Like, it's good that you have that one concentration, and that's who you are. That's why you came to undergrad, or that's why you went to school. But at the same time, what else have you done outside of the lab or outside of your major? Like, what else have you been involved in? So diversifying CV and resume. There are small things like formatting, and each area of research has its own way of formatting. So figuring out how your field formats their CV and resume is really important. It also shows that you have done some research and you know what you're doing. Lastly, as a bonus tip, is setting a deadline that's earlier than the deadline set by the school. Like, honestly, anything can happen. The system might crash. Your laptop might crash. Literally, and think of the worst case scenario. Yes, they can happen, and you were just about to hit that submit button and boom, everything is lost. I set my deadline 2 weeks before my actual deadline, so by Thanksgiving. So I was like, by Thanksgiving I am done with grad school applications. I do not want to think about them. I am done. I want to celebrate Thanksgiving with family, with nothing at the back of my mind telling me I need to do something with my essays or do something with my recommenders. With my recommenders, I gave them like, I think, a deadline of after Thanksgiving, but I mean, they had my back. Really set your deadline early, and I mean, it saves you a lot of stress knowing that your application was accepted. And if they have anything that, you know, any additional information that they want you to provide, you have a lot of time. You have a lot of time to gather that information, rather than it's like, oh yeah, the deadline is tomorrow, but we found your application doesn't have this and this documents that will take 3 days or 4 days to get. They, you know, they set a deadline. And this can even come all the way up until the making a plan. Like, set a deadline. Know by when do you want to be done with the application process, and now you're just waiting for their feedback. So those were my 5 and bonus tips on how I went about my grad school application process. If you liked this video, make sure to click the thumbs up, give it a thumbs up, and obviously comment and see what else have you seen out there that would help somebody else who's coming back to this channel and watching this video. So leave a comment at the bottom. I will engage, and if you have questions, like, you know, leave I love questions, so leave your questions at the bottom. Leave your comment, and obviously subscribe for more content like this. And until next time, Jackie Phi out. The people were smart. But there's always that one thing that should make you stand out. Oh, sorry, I thought it was a spider. Oh my god, I thought it was a spider. If you haven't watched my spider video, like, I'm always paranoid in this car. Welcome back, beautiful people, to yet another rumble. If you're new to my channel, I am not always this weird. I'm Jackie Phi, and I give rambling monologues or vlogs on different aspects of life and try to give tips on topics like education, lifestyle, and art, things that are very familiar to me. So if you're interested in that kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a comment with your questions. I always check my comments, so leave a comment on aspects that you want me to discuss, or if you want tips on different, you know, something that comes up in my videos, just, you know, let me know, and I'll give you my perspective on it. So let's get to the video. Today's video will be answering a question that I've been getting for the longest. Like, ever since I got into grad school, like, this is the #1 question that I get from most of my friends and even family. Like, how is it that you got into grad school to work towards your PhD, and you know you've not done a master's, or you've not worked for a few years to gain that work experience? And the answer to that is I really made a purposeful plan in undergrad to get that research experience, because I kind of knew in freshman year that I really did not want to go into a different field. Like, I really wanted to go to grad school, and to go to grad school for a PhD. So that was something that I purposed to do in my first year. So I really had this planned out, but it wasn't a straight journey. It wasn't even realizing what you know, that I didn't want to go to med school, which was an option at some point in my life. Even realizing that was not as easy, you know. And I feel like I have you know, this would be a nice way of sharing my story on how I was able to build my research experience, and even the process that I had to go through in order to get to where I am today. So stick around, there's some good stuff coming up. I came to the US in 2016, and I wanted to do biochemistry. I was passionate about biochemistry. It still intrigues me how, you know, the cell is such a small entity in our body, but you know, it does all things that contribute to life. Like it's the powerhouse of who we are. It's who we are, you know. And it's always been intriguing learning about the cell and learning about the different aspects that the cell is involved in, specifically signaling and gene expression, how different reading different parts of the DNA leads to, you know, different phenotypes, different things that we see. How is it that we're getting blue-eyed versus brown-eyed individuals, yet the DNA that we share is essentially all the same, right? It's made up of the same things. So it's always been intriguing learning about biochemistry. And coming to the US, that was the main thing I really wanted to learn about it. But you know, coming from a family that believes in doctors, I was like, oh yeah, you know, I was always pressured, like, you should think about it, you should think about med school and see how that goes for you. So I had that option. I was thinking maybe I can be a doctor. Who knows? I've never really interacted with patients before. I hate going to the hospital. Yeah, like I really do. But at the back of my mind, I knew that was also an option. So when I came to Michigan State University, I wanted to try and see if medicine was in my plans. And you know, one of the first things that you take was anatomy. So I enrolled in an anatomy class, and you know, I was like, this will give me a good idea. Excuse me. This will give me a good idea of what I want to, of whether I want to go into med school. You know, learning about the human body, easy enough. I mean, it's just looking at myself and then just this bone is connected to that bone, you know, that bone, right? Oh gosh, shock on me. Like the very first class I walked in, I walked into the very first class. The first 10 minutes, they're talking about distal, proximal, and I have no idea what they were saying. I was lost. I was lost the entire class. It was a 2-hour class, but honestly, my brain shut off at the distal, proximal, anatole. I can't remember. This was freshman year, y'all. During that class, I was like, this is not what I want to do. I do not see myself using this type of language. I do not see myself using, you know, putting myself through learning all that. No, this is not for me. So I'm going the research route. So I had two things. I had med school and grad school. So med school, grad school. But at that point, I was like, yeah, this is not happening. So I went to the research route, and I remember like going back to my dorm room, dropping that class straight up. I did not even think about it. I didn't think about it twice. I was like, I'm not doing medicine. I'm not going to med school. That was it. That was a determining factor for me. So after getting my class dropped, I started looking into research opportunities. I mean, I was coming from a background of banking, and banking, a little bit of like finance, economics kind of thing, but you know, so I really did not have like a lot of like biochemistry background where I could get a job like straight and start working in a lab, for example. So I had to get some experience somewhere. So I started like really looking for opportunities on campus. Like I emailed professors. I went to my college advisor, and she would recommend people to talk to, people to email, or she would send us like emails every week, or this person is looking for somebody to work in their lab, this person is looking for an assistant, this person, all those. And I would email all my professors, like all those professors that were looking for people. And of course, sometimes you don't get a reply. You send out 500 emails and nothing. And that was the thing that happened. Like, honestly, for that fall semester, I did not get any response on my emails. By the time I got to my second semester, now I was allowed to work, because so I came here on a scholarship, and for the first semester I was not allowed to work. The good thing, they were giving us a small stipend, so at least I was able to survive on that. But the second semester I was allowed to work now, so I could get like a job, any job. And I was like, yo, I just need something to hold me down and I can volunteer in like a lab to get the experience. So I got a job as a receptionist, and I worked that job probably the rest of the semester. But at the same time, I was still applying to jobs. Over the summer, I decided to stay on campus and work. It was actually a good thing, because it was at that time that most people are going home for their summer vacation, so most labs are empty. They are looking for people to work. So I decided to not go for a summer vacation and just stay on campus and work. So that's how I landed my first job. I was a lab tech in this lab, and it wasn't even like really the biochemistry that I wanted to do, but it was a stepping stone. So I did that. I was working in a lab where we were looking at narrowing down the lethal dose range of some of the pesticides that are used in peach farms in Bath County in Michigan. And it was really fun, honestly. I got to learn a lot of transferable skills. I was even able to visit the orchids and enjoy the peaches. The farmers were really nice. We were trying to find a concentration that was good at killing the neonates and killing the larvae, but at the same time it wasn't toxic to humans. So like, it wasn't leaving a lot of residue on the peaches, and obviously that leads to toxicity in humans. But it was an interesting job. We were only 3 people, so it was a lot of work. I did a lot of work on my own, and which gave me that independence, that I could do research on my own, figure things out on my own, because it was just my boss, a grad student who was graduating. So she actually graduated that summer, so in like a month of training me, she was gone. So for some time it was just me and my boss, and then we got another student. So yeah, I got a lot of experience from that. And while I was in that lab, as the summer was ending, I really wanted a lab that was looking at what is happening in the cell. Like, organismal biology is good, it's interesting, but I was really interested in cellular biology, molecular biology. So I started looking for places that I could volunteer and get some research experience, and even if I don't get paid. So at this time I was getting paid in this lab, but I really wanted, even if it's getting like a volunteer position, it's fine as long as I get the research experience. I was able to get a job in the Department of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, and I was paired to a postdoc in the lab, and we were doing amazing research. It was one of the labs that I learned a lot, like way much more than what I was getting in my classes. And that's the beauty of it. With doing research while still taking classes, you're applying what you're learning in class to your lab, and vice versa. So there are some things that I learned from my lab, and then they were explained in my classes, or I learned them from my lab classes, and then now I'm applying them in my research. So it was like a very nice interplay of the two, but I wasn't getting paid. So, and that was a kind of a, oh, I'm sorry, I thought I saw something, and that was a kind of a big deal for me, because you know, expenses. A girl's gotta eat. So yeah, I tried to do as much as I could with the little time that I had, and then after a year, so I volunteered for a year, so 2 semesters, two, you know, 1 academic year, and made a presentation at one of the big symposiums that we have in Michigan State. And from that presentation, I went to my boss in the backend department. I was like, yo, you know, my work is good. But now it's just, but technically that's exactly how I went to him. Like, I've been doing this work, you know, I've been dedicated 10 hours a week. I come here every day. I'm always on time. The quality of my work is superb. I would like to join the lab for pay. I want more responsibilities rather than the, you know, mundane stuff that I was doing. I mean, I did everything from cleaning dishes to running errands to at the bench work, writing, proofreading. I did everything. I did a lot, and at the time I was the only undergrad in the lab, so all the work comes to me. Yeah, and then talked to him, and he was like, okay, fine, that's fine. I was like, oh, okay. I guess it's fine. And at the time I was asking him this, it was just before summer of the next year of my sophomore year, the end of my sophomore year, and at that time I had an internship back in Kenya. So I went back home for my internship. I did my internship, and all these things build up the experience and build up the CV, because I'm as much as I'm doing all this seemingly mundane stuff, they're adding up to a really good CV, transferable skills that I'm learning from all this, being able to manage my time, being able to work in different work environments. Like, all these things are contributing to having a really good CV. After my talk with my professor, I went to Kenya for my internship. I had an internship with the Biotechnology Research Institute. The lab that I was supposed to go to, they were just setting up, so they did not have projects. So my PI, my scientist in that lab, assigned me to a different lab where they had projects already going. I was involved in a project that was studying the pathogenicity of trypanosomia, of trypanosomes in sleeping sickness. Basically, we were learning about sleeping sickness and how the parasite infects, the tissues, and how that affects the overall health of humans. And we were using the mice, so that gave me the experience of using mice, right? Which was helpful for grad school, because now I use mice for my research. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen a few videos of, mice dissections and stuff like that. So all these things were adding up. So I did my internship, came back to the US, did a presentation on the research that I was doing there. And even when I was there, I was also exposed to different types of research being done in Kenya. So it wasn't just, that one thing that I was concentrating on. It was, that one thing plus all these other things that are happening around. So by the time I come back, it was, I had a lot of reason. I had a lot of experience in and outside of the lab. When I came back to the US, I obviously went back to the lab. Now I'm getting paid, which was lower than my previous lab, but I'm getting work experience. I did that for another 2 years. So doing research, getting, presentations out. I ended up resigning from the previous lab and just focus all my energy to this. So I was working like 20 hours, which is the maximum you can work as an international student in the US. So I was working actually 19, and as I worked in that lab, I was also working part-time as an undergrad research ambassador, where I was helping students find research opportunities on campus, because I had gone through the whole sending 500 emails and not getting a reply. So I was in a position where I could help other people, and I did that for a year, no, 2 years as well. I was also part of the Dean's Research Scholars Program, which is essentially talking to donors and alumni and telling them about your research. So yeah, that also took some time. I mean, it wasn't that much of work, which was really good, and they gave you a stipend, which is really good. But the thing with that one, I got to travel the US and see some really beautiful places, meet some really interesting people as well. So it was work, but it was a bit more chilled, which was really fine. The ambassador job, it was a lot of workshops, doing workshops with students, doing one-on-one consultations with students, helping them navigate all the things that are involved in looking for these opportunities and all that. So I did all this concurrently. So I'm doing like three jobs at the same time, and I'm a full-time student. So it was a lot. I did not have time for anything. Like, honestly, by the time the weekend comes in, oh, you're so tired. And then obviously you want to spend time with friends and all that, but the good thing, my friends, we would go to IHOP at 4 a.m. and because that's the only time we have free, because they're also doing their thing, so we just go to IHOP at 4 a.m. for breakfast and then come back. Like, yeah, I did not have a social life in college, but I think it was worth it. So yeah, I did 3 jobs during those 2 years, and they are all contributing to different aspects of undergrad research. That's the thing. It doesn't have to always be in a lab. I feel like when you're doing your application, they will look at it wholesomely. I tried to make my resume as wholesome as I could, so that by the time I'm getting to grad school applications, no one else has that combination. I will stand out from that pool, because everybody will be smart. I mean, there are people who are much smarter than I am. I'm not even kidding. Like, even now in grad school, there are people who are smart. But there's always that one thing that should make you stand out. Oh, sorry, I thought it was a spider. Oh my god, I thought it was a spider. If you haven't watched my spider video, like, I'm always paranoid in this car. So I mean, COVID really cut everything short, and I had to leave Michigan in March, but I think I left with enough that really helped me in my application. And also, to all of these things, I had really good recommendation letters, I had really good essays, I had a really good CV. So these 3 things were like the things that really helped me out, and I was so appreciative of the fact that everybody came together to help me out with my application. So having that network really helped me out. There's so many things, there's so many aspects of it, and I don't know what really convince all the schools that I got into that I'm a good candidate. Could be a whole combination of things, could be one thing from all the things that I've talked about, but it happened and I'm here. So that's all I had for today. If you liked this video and found it helpful, then you'll probably like this video that has tips on some of the things that I mentioned. This is like a summary of it, and some of the things I did that will help you in your grad school applications. Until next time, Jackify out. What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl Jackie Pie here again with yet another vlog. I don't know. I feel so like cartoon anime kind of thing today. I don't know. I don't know if it's working. Is it? But welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my fourth vlog. Is it fourth or third? Or fourth? Yeah, I don't know where we're at, but welcome back. I appreciate all the love and support that you've been showing me by watching my videos, liking my videos, sharing your thoughts, sharing your opinions in my DMs. I am so grateful that you're enjoying the vlogs as much as I am, because yeah, I'm having fun doing this, and I hope you get to have fun as well listening to my ramblings and my rants and all that. And there is so much more coming next year. I mean, I don't think I will ever run out of things to ramble on and on and on about. So make sure you subscribe, make sure to like, make sure to leave a comment, and all the support that you're giving me, I really do appreciate it. So if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, you know that I officially came out, I guess. I don't know, it's just been like a whole process, like you never really truly understand coming out until like you go through it, and then it's like, oh, you think you've come out, and you're like, oh yeah, that's just your friends, and then oh yeah, there's your family, oh yeah, there's the rest of your family and friends, and it's like, oh my god, it's so much work, explaining what you're about, what you love, and how you express your love, and it's yeah. But I am so glad that I'm going through this whole process, as hard and intimidating as it is, because it's my way of sharing with you who I truly am. And I mean, most of my friends have known that I'm bi for the longest time, so that was not a surprise to them. But yeah, a lot of people, especially if you only know me through social media, or superficially, maybe we went to school together or something like that. I mean, we didn't really interact, and you probably didn't know that. And I mean, now you do. So today I shared a post on how I've been feeling, and the reason that I made this beauty over here. And as I said in my post, it's really a message and an answer to all the questions that I've been getting. Oh, how come? What is this? What is that? How does this even happen? And all that. It's love is love. You really don't have. Sometimes you don't know who you love, and you just end up loving someone, and you're like, I can't explain it. And you know what? I usually say, I love everyone. It's just that love is a bit different for each and every person, and it's valid. How I love you and how I love somebody else, all that love is valid. And it's really hard explaining that to some of my family who are a bit conservative and very closed in, and maybe have not been exposed to this, or they have a lot of stereotypes to it and all that. So I mean, it has been a journey, and it's not a journey that will stop today. Not even tomorrow. It will be a continuous thing. But enough of that. That is not the main topic for today. Honestly, today I just really want, as the last day of 2020, yay, yes, like I'm so happy 2020 is almost like, I can literally taste 2021, like, ah. And some people, you know, some countries have already crossed over to the new year, so I am so excited for midnight to get this over and done with. Oh my god, 2020 has been the longest year for me. A lot has happened in a span of 12 months. A lot has happened. A lot of good and bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not just been a lot of bad things that have happened this year. There have been some good things as well, and all of this fun and new and strange and confusing events that have happened throughout the year have really molded me to the person that I am. I would say to the person that I am today, and have really, like, given me that push to be brave enough to stand up for what I want. So, I mean, with all the stuff, I really don't want to cuss. I'm trying not to. With all the stuff that has happened this year, you know, it has really forced me to really think about my life, how I've lived my life, and how I want to live my life for the rest of however long God wills it. And you know, I'm always for the belief that everything happens for a reason. There was a reason that we had to have a pandemic. There was a reason that we had to go through all the, you know, all the bad events that have happened this year that really broke us down. And oh my god, I had some really hard knockouts, you know, from, you know, having some issues with my stepmom and going through, oh my god, it was, yeah, that was a really hard one for me. Like, we didn't even talk for like almost better half of the year. You know, being so broken down by that, and having the pandemic, and you feel like you're trapped in your own house, in your own body, in your own world, and you can't even have the ability to breathe. You can't even breathe, because it's like with every breath that you take, it's like something is being taken away from you. And you know, having that feeling well throughout the year was so crushing that I could not even, you know, maintain some of the relationships that I had. And it got to the point that I had to call it quits with my boyfriend of 4 years. And that was another blow. You can imagine loving someone, you know, for 4 years, and being in a position where you cannot maintain that relationship because it's just too hard, especially, you know, with it being a long distance relationship. That is a whole other level of working for a relationship. And yeah, it was a really tough decision, honestly. And I really appreciate having such a person in my life, because, you know, he really understood the position that I was in at the time, and really was there. By taking a step back, it was him showing me that he was there and he understood, and it was just not working. It wasn't working for us, and I mean, I wasn't even in a position to even be in a relationship either way. So that was a lot for me, you know, especially, you know, throughout the summer. A lot happened throughout the summer. Coming out to my parents, that was a that was a whole thing that I did not even expect it. Honestly, I didn't even expect to come out anytime soon. Like, at least not to my family, because I mean, my friends know, my boyfriend knew, like everybody else knew, and I wanted it that way because they are, you know, when it comes to friends or people who you're not related to by blood, they will understand. However, when you have people that, you know, raised you, they always have questions or and get confused because they don't understand. They start questioning, you know, all the stereotypes, like, did I do something? What can I do to help? Or, you know, it's like a whole thing about feeling guilty, and then there's also like the stigma that comes with it, where, oh yeah, your girl or your boy is gay, so what did you do, you know, like, and I mean, these are some of the things that I'm being asked right now, and some of the concerns that my family is going, you know, having throughout this thing. But like, at the end of the day, it was something that needed to happen, because I really did realize that I was really compromising for everybody else, you know, like I was putting what I want on hold in order to please someone, or in order to make somebody else's dream or make somebody else's hopes come true instead of my own. And really that took a lot a lot from me. It was exhausting, and especially when you look at the people that you're sacrificing all this for, or that you're making all these compromises for, they wouldn't do that for you. You would go to the ends of this world for them. You would literally, if they asked you to jump, you would ask them how high. But if it came to a point where the situation was reciprocated, where, you know, the situation was switched, they wouldn't do that for you. And honestly, I just had it. I just had it. And sometimes, like, don't get me wrong, I have had all the motivational speeches. I have been told, oh, I've been through seminars, you're just like, oh yeah, don't listen to people, don't do this, you know, don't listen to what people say. But sometimes it doesn't really hit you that you're doing it. You know, you go through such thoughts and all this motivational speech, like, do you, and all that. But until you really experience it and it really hits you that you're actually doing it, because honestly, I would not have told you that I was making all these sacrifices for people. It wasn't something that I realized that I was doing. It was something that I was doing, but I wasn't realizing it. But when I had nothing, when I literally had nothing on my back and moved to Florida, that was when I was like, yo, I have been doing this. I have been pleasing other people to the point that now that I'm alone, I have nothing to my name. I have no idea what I want. You know, I have no idea what I want out of this life. And I was like, wait, I guess so, you know, and now you're like, oh shoot, I started conforming to, you know, I was like the target to those motivational speeches, because now it kind of makes sense. And until that happened, that's when I was like, okay, I need to work on it. And now I'm in a position where I can freely talk about this. And, you know, one of the main reasons that I'm doing these vlogs is to really encourage, or just speak to someone out there and know that you're not alone. And sometimes you do need to take a step back and reflect on your actions. I never did that as often as I should have, but now I do. Like, I do so quite often. How will this benefit me as much as it's benefiting the other person? Am I putting something that I want on hold for me? Like, is it for my benefit? Or am I only doing it for somebody else? And yeah, it just, you know, recently over the last few months, that's when that realization came to pass. So yeah, it has been a year of growth. You know, I where I did go through a lot of things that, you know, sparked up a lot of older things that have happened in my life, and you know, a lot of feelings that sometimes you hide away. And I mean, you know, I'm getting help with all that. So that's, you know, finally putting things into perspective and working on my mental health, because yeah, it was bad. I was in a bad place. And you know, now I am in a position where, to the point that I'm in a position to vlog about this, like that is a tremendous growth for me. And actually, I was going through my Google Photos. I'm sorry if I'm not looking at the camera that often. I'm quite shy, so it's not like if I'm wondering. But I was going through my Google Photos, and I found this video that I made in around July. And this was one of the points that I was at my lowest. I had gained so much weight. I hated how I looked. I had gone through so many things within the 2 or 3 months leading up to July. And July is my birthday, 23rd. So it's like, you know, I was like, yo, I'm not even excited about that, because I mean, what else is there? What other catastrophe am I gonna go through, you know, in this year? I've already gone through so many things. And this is the TikTok video that I made. Actually, I think only 2 people saw it before I took it down, and I was like, I'm not ready for, you know, people to see this, especially like those who follow me on Instagram are really like family and friends, close family and friends. I don't have a lot of followers on TikTok, so it was like it was up there for 2 minutes. I think only 2 of my cousins saw it, and then obviously they DM'd me, and at the time I couldn't even talk about everything that I was going through. So here's a video. So yeah, that was a video that I made when I was at my lowest. I love art. I have always loved art. I did art and design in high school for 4 years, and like I actually wanted to go into architecture school, and then I had a calling for biochemistry and the sciences, so I went that route. But I've always loved art, and dancing was one of the things that really helped me through this summer, greater parts of the spring and summer. And oh my god, discovering TikTok was just it was just bliss. Oh my gosh. So I did this, I made this video just before my birthday, And I did it as a reminder for me in the future, that when I look back at it, I will be in a better position. And now I can say that I'm in that position where I am in a much better place. As you see in the video, I highlight some of the really hard struggles that I went through, and they might seem small. Oh yeah, you fought with your stepmom, or no, or oh yeah, you broke up with your boyfriend or whatever. But to me, they were the biggest things that happened, and I was yeah, it was bad. But looking back at it, I see the growth that has happened, and as the year winds down, I want to reflect on 2020 and I wanted to reflect on 2020 and look at the positives that have happened this year. And one of the biggest positives was that I got into grad school, and that was oh my god, that was something that I've been working on for the last 4 years, and now I'm in a position where I'm in grad school, working towards my PhD, figuring out what I want to do with that PhD and all that, and I'm in a position where I can actually see myself doing something for me and not for anybody else, I bought my first car. The vlogs, if you've seen my vlogs, I vlog in my car. Today I'm doing something different. I'm in my house, so I usually vlog in my car. My very first car. I've never owned a car before, and I have something that I can call my own. Like, if the landlord said that out, I'll be like, okay, I will live in my car. I have something that's in my name and something that's mine. So that has been a huge plus. Finished my first semester of grad school, my first lab rotation. I'm in my second, almost finishing up with that, and maybe choose a lab that I will be in for the next 4 or 5 years. And that is all so exciting. That is definitely not a point that I thought I would be, when I was starting out in undergrad, or even finishing high school, which is 5 or 6 years ago. It wasn't a position that I was like, oh, this is where I want to be in 5 years. So that has been a huge plus. In terms of my family, I'm now in a good position. We're now in a good position with my stepmom, and we're working on getting back to where we were, and getting closer. We're now much closer with my dad than before. All the drama that happened really brought us closer, and that is something that I actually appreciate. And that's what I'm saying, everything happens for a reason. Yes, my relationship with my stepmom was a bit strained for a time, but during that time I really bonded with my dad, and we had some really heart-to-heart conversations that cleared up a lot of things and brought us really close. And that is just a huge plus that we are both taking advantage of. And I graduated from college. Oh my god. If you've taken biochemistry and then take it as a course, as a bachelor's, oh my god, you know how stressful it is. It just drains you. I was so drained by the time I was in my senior year. I was like, I need to go, I need to graduate. I finally graduated, and I really loved the grade that you know, the honors. I graduated with honors, really good GPA. I mean, I'm now in grad school working on my PhD, working towards a PhD. So, like, oh God, yeah, although hard and sweats, hard and tears or sweat, I don't know how that thing goes, really paid off. So that is something that is definitely a plus on my books. I got, again, with the grad school, I got seven grad school acceptances. Traveled across the US before the pandemic. Traveled across the US, going to all my interviews, and actually getting into those schools. And along the way, I made so many friends, and even my roommates was one of the friends that I made during traveling and all that. And it was, like, honestly, it was the best time for me. Like, at the beginning of the year, everything was perfect, everything was working out, and then the pandemic hit, and then just things happened. So I made a lot of friends. I got to see a lot of places throughout my travels, going to a new state every weekend. That was really exciting. I was able to go to Canada for the first time. I've never been to Canada, and now I can say, oh yeah, I've seen CN Towers, or oh yeah, I've taken a picture with the Canada sign or something like that in Toronto or something, like, and say I've been to Canada at least once, and that was a first of many, hopefully in the next year or two. Definitely coming out was again, it was not planned. I was not planning on coming out, but it happened, and I'm grateful that it did. And now it's just a matter of, do you want to maintain the relationship that we had, and realize that really at the end of the day, you'll be going to your person, I'll be going to my person, regardless of who that person is, or will it be an issue? And I really hope it isn't, and I don't lose family and friends from it, because I do not have a lot of friends, especially friends. I do not have a lot of friends because I'm very picky on my friends. So if you're friends, I need you, like, you are an important person to me. So I hate losing friends. I hate losing close family. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully everybody is respectful, and that's the thing. I mean, I'm still the same person. I'm still the same Jackie that I'm still the same Jackie Five that I am still the same Jerry. However you know me, I'm still the same person. So yeah. And then, finally I did meet someone that I really, really care about, and now we're official, which is exciting. So I met my girlfriend, and I love her so much. I love her family. They're very accepting. They're very really nice people, and that is an adventure and an exciting next phase of my life that I'm excited to start and see where that goes. And obviously doing the vlogs, this is something that I've been thinking of doing for the longest. My friends have always been telling me, like, oh yeah, you should write a book of all your endeavors, or oh yeah, you should write something. Like, I don't know what it can be, like, just write it all out. And I was like, I'm not a writer. I am not a writer. I don't even read books. So you can imagine telling me to write books. Ah. So what's the next best thing? Vlogging. I'm just gonna sit here and talk about them. Talk about my day. Talk about what I'm feeling. Talk about how everything is. If you want me to talk about something specific or something general, always subscribe, hit the comment button, and share your comments. Like, really, I would love to hear about anything, all your quirks and all that. So so that was a few things that have happened, the good and bad. And as 2020 is almost over, I'm excited for all the good stuff that's about to come. Then I hope you will all have an amazing 2021, and everything that you've planned, hopefully, I pray that it works out for you, and we will get back to near normal conditions, and eventually normal conditions, where we will only think about 2020 as, oh, that year, that happened, but it's all over. So happy holidays, happy new year. Just enjoy having family, enjoy having friends, enjoy this time. I feel like one thing that 2020 has really taught us is the value of the people around us. And when that opportunity was taken away from us during all the lockdowns and the pandemic itself, and people actually losing their friends and family to COVID-19, it really brought everything into perspective on the whole idea of having family close, and really appreciating everyone's place in your life. And if anything, I would want to maintain those relationships with our family, and appreciate one another as we go into the new year. Learn how to communicate, learn how to forgive, learn how to accept, learn how to love your people, whoever is in your life, and be respectful and honest and loyal, and just be loving. Just sometimes a hug goes a long way. So that's all I had for today, and I'm hoping that come 2021, it will be so much better, so much better than 2020, and we will all look back at this year as a memory. It would be a bad or good memory, it would be a memory. Every memory has its good and bad side. So 2020, hopefully it will be a memory by the end of this coming year. And as we reflect on 2021, it will be a much different reflection. It will be more of the pros than the cons that come with the new year. And that is my wish, and that is my prayer to each and every one of you. We have survived 2020. I know I have, and I am ready to fight this next year and get back on my feet, and I hope that all of you are as well. So that is all I have for today. And again, please hit the subscribe to my channel. Like, honestly, it just warms my heart knowing that I have people that are really supportive of what I'm doing, and I'm excited about all the plans that I have for this vlog, and all the other things that will be coming from this vlog on my Instagram. Same handle at Jackify or Jackify's World. Facebook, Jerry Jacqueline and all that. I don't use Facebook that much, but who does it? But anyway, but yeah, I'm excited, and I can't wait to hear from all of you. Happy holidays, happy new year 2021, and enjoy life. And until next time, Jackify out.